Louisa, can you just say something so that I make sure that we can hear you loud and clear?
Absolutely. Does this sound okay?
If you can come a little bit closer, that will be good.
Okay, hang on. Don't want to be cut out of the picture. Is this any better?
Sure, sure. It's fine. It's fine. Let me just add you as so first I'll spotlight myself and then I'm gonna add you as a spotlight. Wonderful. Great. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Woman Within. I feel like it's been so long since we spoke, and last week was phenomenal. We had the incredible Deborah Darling here with us. And today, as promised, we have someone incredible, someone who I strongly believe that your life and your story is going to make so much impact. Louisa literally carries a story of resilience, and I cannot wait to hear from her, learn about her journey and how she has come this far. I first of all want to also add that if you have not already done so, please share the link with someone, invite someone to join. We are also streaming live on YouTube on our channel called Polka Global. So all you need to do is literally type, why is my mic falling down? But it's okay. All you need to do is just type Power Blood Foundation Canada on YouTube as well, and you see us live streaming. And I want to encourage you to share the links with someone today because I know today's conversation is going to be inspiring, it's going to be motivational, and anywhere you find yourself, I'm sure that you're going to learn from Louisa's story. So, just a brief bio on who our lovely guest is. Louisa Montalvo is a member of Toastmasters International and was working with Abbott Laboratories for 25 years. She was the first Hispanic to champion as world champion of public speaking in 2024 and was also placed second in 2019 competing in an international contest. Louisa loves saving animals, giving inspiring speeches, and making friends along the way. She's striving to make her mother proud. Louisa, you're so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
We love to have you. So, the last sentence that said you're striving to make your mother proud is quite interesting that even as young as you look, you still have the goal of making your mother proud. What drives that?
My mother was an amazing woman,
Mm,
an amazing orator, an amazing businesswoman, and came from literally nothing and was able to build herself to a level that I can only hope to achieve.
mm.
She spoke passionately, she spoke beautifully, eloquently. She was an amazing businesswoman, an amazing parent, an amazing person. And if I could be half of what she was, hopefully she would be proud. I do believe that achieving the first Hispanic to win the world champion speaker for Toastmasters International, I believe that was maybe a little feather in my cap for
Mm.
her to be able to say, okay, this is good. So,
No, achieving the world, like you're literally one of the best public speakers in the world, literally. And achieving that height, because I'm a Toastmaster myself.
oh, okay,
So,
great.
yes. And getting to championship level is a big deal because first of all, you have to compete within your club. Then you have to go to district level. Then you have to go to no division, then district.
Area,
Area, right. So club
division,
area.
division, district,
Uh-huh.
region, semifinal, final. There you go.
That's incredible. Honestly, this is so amazing. And it's so great to have achieved such great heights. And I am incredibly, incredibly proud of you. So I've
Thank you.
watched majority of your speeches already. And one key question I have for you is you are an eloquent woman. Like you have a silver tongue. Were you born with it or it was something that you had to nurture?
Actually, I believe I was born with not having any fear of being on stage, but being an eloquent speaker was all, I believe, started with my mother, who, as I said, she was a housewife and then went to start selling Avon door to door.
Mm,
From there, she went to salesperson. From there, she went and was promoted to district manager, where
mm,
she had 200 saleswomen under her. And every Tuesday night, we would attend a sales meeting that she would conduct. And I would just sit there and watch her speak. And I was in awe of how masterful she was at speaking
mm.
and just wanting to bring the best out of all of her representatives. And I thought, if I can speak like that one day, I might be able to do something with that. And like I said, I don't think I would ever come as close as she did being a speaker, but I strive to be that.
That's amazing. That's so incredible. So, I'm sure, to be honest, I get a lot of people just coming and asking, how does one develop and enhance their confidence when it comes to public speaking? And with you being the world champion, being on stage with over 1,700 people, how did you master the confidence?
I believe confidence, I don't think it's so much confidence as it is. My father instilled a lot of things in us as children, and one of them
Mm,
was to have no fear. In fact,
mm,
I have a keynote that I present titled No Fear.
wow.
And he said, whatever it is, he said, if people come and ask you, hey, Louisa, do you want to? He said, before they even finish the sentence, just say yes. I said, what if I don't know what it is? He goes, it doesn't matter. He goes, just say yes for the experience and just say yes to be able to say, hey, you've done that now. So I believe my parents were a beautiful balance of exactly what I needed as a child growing up.
Mhm.
So confidence, I probably lack confidence, but I could hear my father saying, just get out there and do it. So that's what I would do. So like I said, again, the balance of my mother and father. Confidence does help. I don't know that I have that much of it,
You
but
sure do.
is it's actually trying to face a challenge. That's what it is. And my mother was so competitive with anything and everything she did. And I believe she instilled that in me. And
Mm.
it was even mowing the yards. I would call her up and she was going to mow her yard and I was going to mow my yard at the same time. And I thought, man, I know I can beat her. And no, she would beat me. Any little thing, it was always competition between my mother and I. And I think that's what helped get me on stage is that I wanted to compete and I wanted to win. So, yep, that's it.
It sounds like you had a very great relationship with your mom.
Oh, I did. I did. Amazing. She was my best friend. She was my best friend.
That's so good. Now,
Mhm.
coming on to the journey of Toastmasters, how long were you a Toastmaster for?
I started, I believe it was in 1989, and I was there at Abbott Labs. They only had the program there for 4 years while I was there. And I believe the one mistake I made was in 1993 when they no longer had the meetings and the organization, the club there at my work. I didn't go looking for another Toastmaster club, and I think maybe I should have, but everything in God's time. So 20 years later, when I retired, moved back home, I joined a club here in South Texas. So I rejoined in 2013, and I've been with Toastmasters since then.
So from 2013 to 2019, were you competing in any like speech competitions?
Everything and anything I could compete in, I was there. In fact, in Toastmasters, and for those of you who aren't in Toastmasters, they were holding 4 contests every year. And it was evaluation contest, table topics contest, humorous
Wonderful.
contest, international contest. And my goal was to win first place in all of those all in the same year. Just to show
Oh,
you just to
oh,
show you how
Louisa, that's a
competitive,
lot.
right? Now, a spoiler alert, it didn't happen. It did in different years, but not all in the same year like I thought, and not all in the same year as I had set my goal. But that was something that I was striving to do. So from 2013 to 2019, yes, I competed in anything and everything.
And finally, in 2019, you made it to that global stage. What was the feeling like after 6 years of investing hard work? Well, technically, should I even say since 1989? That was a
Mhm,
lot of years of
mhm.
continual consistency in just trying to be the world's greatest public speaker. How was that like? Because you have a lot of patience. If that was me, I would
Oh,
have.
yes. If there's one thing I have, it's patience.
Mm,
But in 2019, I had consulted with my 95-year-old mentor, who's
wow.
also in table topics, Phyllis Allen.
Mm,
And I told her, if I don't win this year, that's it. I'm done. How many times do you have to hear, no, you're not good enough, or no, you're not what we're looking for?
mm.
And she told me the only thing that I wasn't doing was I wasn't having fun. I was
Okay.
too serious. I was too serious, and I needed to loosen up, and I needed to have fun. So when I got on stage in 2019 in the finals, there were 8 of us competing for the first place. I thought, you know what? It doesn't matter what you do out there, Luisa, because this is your last year. You're done. And I actually had fun delivering my speech. And if you go on YouTube and watch it, I'm just having a great time because I'm thinking, I'm not going to win. It doesn't matter. This is my last year. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I won second place. And I went, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And the beauty of winning second place, first, second, or third, is you are invited to go and speak keynotes all around the world. And
Oh, wow.
the only place I got to go to was Puebla, Mexico. And I remember giving my keynote, and people were in line to take pictures and hug me and congratulate me. And one lady came up and said, congratulations on being the first Hispanic to make it to the top three.
Wow.
And I said, really? She says, yes. I said, wow, I had no idea. Thank you for letting me know. And I
Wow.
went to go talk to the next person in line, and she said, oh, Luisa, by the way, good luck, best of luck to you on trying to make it to number one. And I said, well, wait. I've been competing for the last 7 years. You're not happy with second? I'm happy with second.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, Luisa, if anybody can get to number one, you can.
Amazing.
So that got me back on stage because I was actually going to say, hey, second, I'm good. Pack it up, go home.
Yeah.
But because of her, again, a stranger that I didn't even know,
Mm-hmm.
will see the value in us before we see it in ourselves.
Mm.
I thought, let me go back and let me see what I can do. And here I am.
That's so good. So in your recent winning speech, and before we even get there, you seem to speak about God a lot. And you also spoke about God not too long ago. Who is God to you and how has that shaped you?
So growing up, I had a different version of God in my mind mentally,
Okay.
and that was okay. But then as I've grown older, I'm realizing that my God, which is the quote I use in my speech, my God accepts me for who I am,
Mm,
understands me, is there when I need them. So that is my God. I am thinking that my God may be different from other people's illusion of God,
mm,
or what they perceive their God to be. And my God is just an all loving God, an understanding, compassionate God. And all I want to do is try and be the best version of myself because that's what I believe God is. It's the best version of something.
mm,
So my God from now to my God when I was 10 years old, I believe is a completely different God. And I
mm,
wanted to share it in my speech, even though everyone told me not to mention the word God. I,
mm.
I went in
Why do you
and
think that they were so hesitant about you speaking about God on a global stage?
well, for one, there's so many different gods. We have so many different, if it's world stage, if I'm going to my church and I'm going to talk about God, I would think we're all talking about the same God, but on a global stage, we have so many different versions of God. And I believe they were trying to keep me from speaking about it because, ironically, speaking about something that you believe in that maybe others don't believe in might hinder you from placing first in the world.
Mm,
And you would think if I'm speaking, I should be able to say what I feel and what I think. And hopefully the audience receives it and accepts it. But I believe the way that I put it into the speech, it made it okay for what I was going to say.
mm,
And I made it a little comical just to relieve the tension.
that's right.
I didn't get up there with a Bible, and I didn't get up there with, blessing people and you must do this, you must do that. I said, hey, you know what? This is what my God said. And it was a good rapport that I had with St. Peter and my God in the speech.
Yeah,
And I think that's what allowed the audience to accept it because they're,
that's right.
oh, she's right. This is her God. It's not my God.
Yeah,
It's her God.
yeah. And I think you even put like a clause in the speech just to let people know that, when I talk about my God, it's not in any means to demean who your God is, but this is
Mhm.
what my God means to me. So let's go to the aspect where I know a lot of people are like, Mommy, cut to the chase. We want to hear, we want to hear the real tea. You died for 6 minutes.
Yes. Yes, I did. Go
When
ahead.
you died for 6 minutes, what happens? Because there's always this mystery about the afterlife, and people say they saw stuff. When you died for those 6 minutes, what did you see?
Well, here's the thing. I have a friend of mine also in Toastmasters with an amazing sense of humor. And he asked me exactly the question you're asking me. He says, oh my gosh, you died for 6 minutes. What did you see? Did you see your father? Or did you see your mother? Or did you see a bright light? And I said, I didn't see any of those. And he jokingly replied, oh, maybe those are just the ones going to heaven, which, what? Touche,
Oh,
touche. So, to answer your question, I was asleep when the accident happened. So, I don't remember anything. They induced me. I'm not sure how to say that. That
okay,
I
so
was
I don't
induced
want us to
into a
even get
coma.
ahead of ourselves. I want us to go on a journey, okay?
Okay, okay,
Because I don't want you to spill all the tea here.
okay.
Where were you going or where were you coming from? Walk us through the day you died for 6 minutes. Let's start from the morning. What
Okay,
happened?
so we had just driven 30 some hours from South Texas to New Jersey. We had 88 homeless shelter dogs. We had people waiting to receive these dogs. We wound up arriving in New Jersey very early in the morning. The dogs were unloaded, the dogs were taken care of. So on our way back, driving a brand new van full of dog food, we were heading back to South Texas to turn in the van to the shelter that was holding the dogs. And so on our way back, since I had just driven, I don't know, I believe I had driven 12, 14 hours. So I was exhausted. And I asked my co-driver, are you able to drive? He says, I got this. I think we left New Jersey at 7 in the morning. We were in Baltimore, Maryland, somewhere in Baltimore, Maryland. Coming back, I was asleep in the front. One of the rare times that I had my seatbelt on. If not, I wouldn't be speaking to you right now. But one of the very rare times that I had my seatbelt on, we were in an accident. We hit a parked 18 wheeler on the side of the road. And then as we started careening down the expressway, another 18 wheeler came and hit my side, and that shot us off to the shoulder. And I was immediately unconscious. The driver was fine. I think he broke his collarbone. And right away, people just started pulling over. Because I've got the video from the dash cam, and people started pulling over and immediately started to come and help me. And there were EMT specialists. There was a gentleman 4 cars behind the accident, and he was an EMT specialist that happened to be going to Florida for a vacation. And his wife said, "What are you doing? Why are you pulling over?" He said, "I took an oath to help anybody that needed my help. So if it weren't for him, Hector Petrelli, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here." He immediately rushed to the scene. He saw I was bleeding out. He put tourniquets on both my legs. And I kept telling him I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. But he was assessing what was going on. He said, "And then I lost you, Luisa." And I said, "Hector, that only means one thing." He says, "Yeah, I lost you. Your heart stopped. You were gone for 6 minutes." And he was panicking, and he was trying to get things to, he couldn't figure out what it was and why my heart had stopped other than the sheer trauma. Then he noticed the seat belt was cutting into my chest and my airway. And so he didn't have a knife. He asked somebody for a knife. He tried to undo the seatbelt. It was locked in, and then he asked for a knife, and somebody gave him a knife. Before that, somebody else gave him a belt because he only had one tourniquet. He needed two for each, one for each leg. And so somebody gave him a belt, and then he put that on me, and then he asked for the knife, and then he was able to cut the seatbelt. And he said, as soon as he cut the seatbelt, I started to breathe again. He said, "But you were gone for about 6 minutes." And I don't remember anything. They induced a coma. They airlifted me to University of Maryland Trauma Center there in Baltimore. And a week later, I woke up.
You were in coma for 1 week.
They had me induced in a coma for 1 week to try to have my body heal from everything. So, yeah. Just saying it, and I hadn't really gone over everything in my mind, but yeah, I do remember waking up and seeing the hospital ceiling, those tiles, and I didn't know what was going on. And I remember I had an itch, or I wanted to scratch my face, but my brain was telling my hand, "Scratch your face," and nothing was happening. And so I thought, do I have hands? Do I have my arms? And I kept trying, my brain kept telling my hand to move, and it wouldn't. And then all of a sudden I see my hand, and I go, "Oh, good, I've got my hand." And then I thought, do I have my other hand? And I wanted to look down, and I couldn't. And then I see my other hand. I said, "Oh, good, I have both of my hands." And then I went to look, and my legs that had been completely fractured were up, being strung up by tension rods, I believe they're called. And they were just up in the air. And that was a shock. I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what was going on. I thought, okay, whatever it is, Lisa, we need to hurry up and heal and get out of here. And I thought what was going to take me 3 months to be able to walk is now, I think we're creeping up on 4 years, and I'm still in my wheelchair. But the thing that I keep telling myself, because there are low points and there are high points. Like today was amazing because I got to go grocery shopping by myself, and I was, oh yes. And I'm down to crutches instead of a wheelchair. And I know sometimes we want to give up and things are really tough. But I tell myself, if you give up now, Luisa, that means everything you've worked for in the last 3.5 years was for nothing. And I can't let that go, because then it was wasted. And gosh, I hate to waste anything. So if anything, I know at times it felt like I would take 8 steps forward and then 10 steps back. But I keep going and I keep going because I know I'm going to come out of this. I know it, and I'm patient and I'm stubborn, and I don't know which is worse or which is better. But I've given myself another 6 months, and I know I'll be walking because I think I've gone through everything that I could go through. So that's, forgive me if I went off on a tangent, but yeah, that's where I am.
Someone said in the chat box that it sounds like a miracle to them, and I think
Oh yes,
your survival is truly a testament of you're literally a walking miracle.
absolutely, absolutely. I
How
uh, I concur.
When you opened your eyes after 1 week, besides asking yourself whether you still had limbs, were you confused as to where you were?
Yes,
Mm,
yes, and the nurses would come in and say, "Do you know where you are?"
mm,
And I said, "I think I'm in a hospital."
mm.
And they said, "Yeah, you're in Baltimore." And I was like, "Baltimore? I'm supposed to be in South Texas. What am I doing in Baltimore?"
Mm.
And they told me, "You're in the best place you could be," because I believe at the time Baltimore was the number one trauma center in the United States. So I said, "Oh, well, okay. Thank you, God, for putting me in the right place at the right time."
That's right.
Yes. Because seeing this is me, and this is what I consider to have a positive attitude. I think most people would say, "I'm in an accident. Now what?" And I'm like thinking, "Oh no, I see the silver lining." And the silver lining was I was in the right state in the right area where if I was going to need help, I was going to get the best help. And I did. And to me, that was pretty cool. So
Were you often, and have you, like, I mean, it's been 5 years now, or 6 years. No,
since
since the accident. How long has it been since the accident? Forgive me.
we're coming 3.5 years, we're coming
Three
up
and a
on
half
four
years.
years.
Okay, forgive me.
2022.
Okay, forgive me on that.
It's okay.
During that period, were you often angry at God?
Oh, God has nothing to do with it.
Oh, t- tell me why? Why?
God,
Why?
God has nothing to do with it. What happened was my co-driver, made a mistake. That was it. We all make mistakes.
Louisa, somebody
He,
could
he
have said, and I'm not trying to challenge, I'm just trying
let,
to,
let's
because your
go. Let's
positive
go.
mindset blows my mind. Someone could
Okay.
have said, well, God could have prevented it. Um, God could have given you strength to drive more. I mean, why? That never crossed your mind.
Of course not. No. No, because if God was to protect us from everything, nothing would happen. There would be no life challenges. So then what is the point? We don't become the person we are until we have faced our challenges, and whether we've conquered them, learned how to go around them, given them to someone else. That's what makes us who we are. And I think my God just wants me to be the best version of myself that I can be. I would never blame God for anything. There's circumstances happen. That's how I think my God. That's how I see my God. My God is just trying to guide me in the right direction. And you know what? God prevented me from dying. Why don't we talk about that? I could have died, and then that would have been it. And I never would have reached the world stage. But He gave me enough of to be able to get through the accident, come back, continue competing, and I made the world stage. That's what I'm celebrating. That's what I'm celebrating. My God helped me get to the world stage. There you go. My God helped me stay alive. My God sent Hector Petrelli to put tourniquets on my legs. That's what my God did.
Wow. I'm lost for words because I I'm often not lost for words, but as for this one, I am because of the positive mindset you have
Mhm.
concerning such a traumatic incident that you have endured.
Mhm.
Because it's easy, truthfully, the easiest way is to be like, God, why? Or, God, why me? But you're
Oh,
like, no, why not me?
okay. So here's the thing: if it were a choice of whether, see, my mom passed away a year and a half ago, 93 when she passed.
Wow.
She was, what, 89 when I was in the accident? Would I have rather wanted her to be in the accident or me? Me. So the beauty of this accident was it happened to me, not to my mother. That's the beauty. Because my mother would not have survived. See, God, I think, if you want to look at it, God chose me. Why? Because He knew I was going to make it. Ah, hey, if something's going to happen, something goes
Whoa.
wrong. If something
Louisa!
goes wrong, you know what? Luisa can take care of it. Luisa's got this. There you go.
So you're emphasizing on the statement that God gives his strongest, what do they say? The strongest,
Attributes, which,
no, there's this
warriors.
quote that says he gives the battles to his strongest soldiers, something along those
Yes,
lines.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Someone, example, someone broke into my home when I was on a transport years back. And I put a post on Facebook and they were saying, "You're not mad?" I said, "Mad? I'm relieved. I'm glad that they didn't go to my mother's house 2 blocks away and harm her or try to steal from her. I'd rather they steal from me. Because what did they steal? Materialistic items that I can replace? To see if she would have been home 85, 89 years old, they could have done anything to her just to take a TV or whatever. No, no, I'm glad that they robbed my house and not my mom's. There's always a silver lining. We just don't see it sometimes. That's it.
I don't know what to say. No, honestly, I am stunned. I am I am so stunned. I feel as if you've just shifted my ideology as I feel like I think I'm a Christian. I think I'm a strong Christian. But I
Okay.
feel like
And there's nothing wrong with that.
your mindset about how our relationship with God should be has really shifted and transformed how I think. Because yeah, how I exactly like Nanaya's how you view challenges in terms of the fact that God gives you certain challenges because he knows you can handle it. Number
Mhm,
one. Number
mhm.
two, there's a silver lining in everything. It could get worse, but at least
It could have
God,
been worse. Yes, it could have been worse. Had I passed away, um, it it would have been detrimental for my mother. I
mm,
know it would have. And I'm grateful that he spared my mother that. My mother had already lost one of her children, my baby sister. I believe she lived 8 hours. And so my mother was already put through, I think, a lot more than anyone should have to go through. They say the worst thing you can do is bury your child. And I believe it. I've never had children, but I cannot even fathom what that would do or what that would be. But I've seen so many parents where something failed their child, they turn around and they become crusaders for whatever it is that took their child away, making it better for other parents in the future. So to me, that's wow. I mean, that's amazing. And if it had to be me to go through what I went through, I'm okay with that. No big deal. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that, um, sometimes we lose hope in I'm missing the word. It's the human factor, the ability to be kind, to be nice. We think as time goes, we're on a downward spiral on the human race. And I have met so many people just wanting to help me.
Mm.
I would have my wheelchair in the trunk of my car, and I would go to a Toastmaster meeting, and I would sit there in the parking lot waiting for somebody to come and help me. And I would see a gentleman walk by, or sometimes even a woman walk by, and I would pop my trunk to the car and I would say, excuse me, can you help me get the wheelchair out of my car? I can't walk. And they would look to see if the wheelchair was in the trunk of the car and see, this is what has jaded us. We no longer believe when somebody needs help that that's all they need. They just need help. We're like, wait a minute, be cautious, wait, it could be something that we have no control over. But so many people would see the wheelchair. Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And they would take the wheelchair out and they would put it right there, right next to the front door of my car. And I would try to offer them $5. I would say, here. And all of them said, no, no, no. I don't want your money. I don't want your money. So what I did instead was I went to the bank and I bought a stack of $2 bills. And so every time somebody would come and help me, I would go to give them a $2 bill. And they said, no, ma'am, we don't want your money. I said, no, 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 no. This is a good luck charm. You see, you came along for me just at the right time when I needed your help. So you carry this $2 bill with you, and anytime you need help, somebody's going to come and help you. And they were like, oh, and then they would take the bill. And so anytime anybody has ever helped me, that's what I do. And this is reinstilled the hope I had for the human race, because it's not until we're in a tragedy that people actually step up to the plate. People we never would have believed would have been there. As soon as I got home, I had family and friends calling, what do you need? I said, oh, I could go for a big bowl of homemade soup. And in 4 hours, I had a big bowl of homemade soup on my front porch. And then my mailman asked me, hey, well, what can I get for you? I said, oh, there's this Mexican dish, fideo con pollo. I would love some of that. The next day, he and his wife brought me a big bowl of food. And it's like, this is my mailman. People will rise up to whatever challenge you give them. And I just think that's the beauty of life. So this has totally instilled all the positivity that I thought the human race was losing. It's now gone and changed my whole perspective. And it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful.
So from 2022, going through the healing journey of trying to walk again, I'm sure you went through a lot of physiotherapies, psychotherapy sessions, and all that. How was the journey like for you? Were there days where you would cry? Were
Well,
there
of
days
course.
where, talk to us about it.
Absolutely. And you don't know how strong you have to be until you have to be strong. And I am so convinced, I am so convinced that there were so many nights I would be in bed crying and say, this, I should be walking by now. I should be walking by now. Why am I not walking? And it's okay to cry. That's just it. You people don't cry. Don't How come it's okay for us to say, oh my gosh, guess what I did today? Oh, I went grocery shopping. But how come I can't say, you know, all night last night I was in bed crying? As a friend, we don't know how to respond to that.
Mm,
Tell me about when you had a good day. Don't tell me when you had a bad day.
mm,
So, of course, did I have bad days? Absolutely. Would I go 3 steps forward and 12 steps back? Yes. But like I said, you don't know how strong you have to be
Until you have
until you have to be strong. And then me being me, I'm like, well, if Luis, if you give up trying to walk right now, that means everything you went through was
it's not
for
worth it.
nothing.
So Louisa, what would giving up had looked for you? Those whispers that said, "Oh, Louisa, give up, forget about it." What would that have looked for you at that time?
I almost have no idea. I think it would have been, I guess, when my doctor says you're approved for therapy, I would have said, no, thanks.
Mm.
If it's, well, hey, if you start using your crutches instead of the wheelchair, you'll get stronger. No, thanks.
Hmm.
But it would have been, I would have had to have been content knowing that the rest of my life was going to be in a wheelchair.
Ooh.
I would have
Mm.
had to been content. And you know what? Everybody right now is playing pickleball, and I want to play pickleball so much. I don't even know how to play it, but I want to play it. And that's one of the things that I want to do as soon as I'm able to start walking again, and then hopefully jogging, and then maybe running. I've never been in a marathon. I never would want to. I don't even know if I would want to do that. But gosh, because I will tell you this, I see people walking, and I'm like, I don't think, because I know I didn't. I said, I don't think they know what they're taking for granted,
Mm.
that you can walk. After this session, you're going to get up, you're going to walk out, you're going to get in your car, you're going to drive home. You may be going to walk your dog, you're going to walk around the park because you need to lose weight. You're going to walk this, you're going to walk. Wow. So we take so much for granted. And it's not until something's taken away that we realize just how valuable it was. And I know how valuable walking is now. I know. So I can hardly wait to do it again. Yep. You have to set goals for yourself. Pickleball is one of them. Walking my dog. Come here. Walking my dog.
Oh, what breed is that?
He is a long haired chihuahua.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait to go walk her. I haven't walked her. I've owned her for 3 years. I've never been able to walk her,
Yeah,
but it's on my list.
yeah.
And setting goals is what you do to get over the rough days. And you're going to have rough days. And people think you can't have one single rough day. You can have a rough week. I've had 3 rough years. But hey, I'm on the mend. It's all downhill from now for me. I've got this. I got this.
Someone asked this question, and I want to repeat it. The person said, "How has this experience changed your knowledge and understanding of God?" I want you to do a comparison for me. Before the accident, what was God to you? After the accident, what is God to you?
I guess before the accident, God was my God, was somebody that I called upon when I was having a hard time. That's what my God was. I think the only time I ever sat down and had any conversations with him were when I needed help. And now after the accident, I wake up and I go, oh, God, thank you for waking me up. Thanking me for allowing me to wake up. And thank you for having 9 dogs in my house that I love all of them. And thank you for being able to for me being able to go grocery shopping by myself. And thank you for, so it's more thank yous than can you help me with. So that to me is my before and after. I still say, hey, help me get through this day, or help me guide me. But okay, for an example, now that number one in the world, you're asked to go and speak in a lot of places. You have to be dressed nicely. So I was getting so caught up that I wasn't able to, and I hate to say this, I would take my shirts to a lady so she would iron them for me. And I think she charges $1 a shirt, which is great. I would launder them, drop them off to her, and then, every week pick up 7 or 8 shirts that I had needed to be ironed. And I just didn't have the time. But just last week, my therapist was saying you need to try to get your heel to touch the ground more. My muscle had just atrophied and was holding on to trauma. So I could my heel on my right leg, which is my worst leg, it wouldn't hit the ground. So I thought, okay, God, give me an idea. What can I do to help me get through this? I said, oh, Luisa, you know what? You're going to try to stand while you iron 3 shirts. So I dusted off my ironing board. I grabbed my iron. I grabbed 3 blouses, grabbed the starch, and I'm standing, and my heel is touching the ground. And you think it's nothing. Again, taking not advantage, not seeing the beauty in you being able to stand up and iron your own clothes. So I'm ironing, and I finished the first shirt, and I'm like, yes. And I felt good. I grabbed the second one and the third one, and I wound up ironing 10 shirts. And I thought, yes, this is awesome. So it's me thanking God now for giving me ideas on how I can get better instead of, God, why did you do this to me? And to me, that's a cop out. That's just, hey, take responsibility. Did anybody force me to go to Baltimore or to New Jersey? No, I did it myself. And there are going to be consequences when we make choices. I wanted to go and drive 5,000 miles on a week and drop off dogs. Nobody told me to do it. How come my brother was in an accident? Because he's not driving for 3 days straight. That's why. You can't be in an accident if you're not on the expressway. It was my choice. It wasn't God saying this accident's going to happen to you. No. It was me saying, this is what I want to do. Do I know that there are risks? Of course. I still wanted to do it. So God helped me stay alive. So, but yeah, that's my God before and after. Before it was, please help me. And after it's been, thank you so much for everything.
So it's almost like it has shifted into an attitude of gratitude more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've
Mhm.
always been grateful.
Yes,
Always been grateful. Always. I was always grateful for everything. I think just more so
yeah,
now.
yes, yes. This has been so good.
Oh,
I
good.
think you have given a lot of us perspective on number one, not taking things for granted because we easily take the simple things that we think is very common to us for granted. Number two, seeing the silver lining in everything.
Everything.
I won't lie to you. You just rocked something in me because it's easier to blame someone else. It's easier to point fingers, but you said see the positive in it.
Mm-hmm.
See the silver lining in it. And honestly, that's amazing. And thirdly, I think it aligns with the first one, being very grateful. Now, I want us to wrap up our conversation, but I want us to wrap up on a very happy, bubbly note because I think right now you've kept all of us very somber. And I'm sure many of us are reflecting and realizing, you know what? Life is not as bad as some of us complain it to be. So I think that's what you've brought to us. Now, the accident happens in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2024, so you go through, I think in your speech, you said you were in the hospital for 3 months.
Correct.
And then, which is a very long time.
Well, actually, it was 1 month in the trauma center, 2 months in the rehab. I couldn't fly home because I had brain bleeds and blood clots in my lungs, so they wouldn't allow me to fly.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah.
And then you finally came home 3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will say, After 3 months, I mean, Louisa would just take a seat. Because normally, one thing about us humans is the moment we go through a bad day, a bad time, traumatic experience, we go and hide in our one corner. We don't want to have anything to do with the world. Some of us will shut down all our social media pages. Some of us will stop going to church. Some of us will be angry at God. Some of us will not want to have anything to do with anybody because we feel like we've gone through a traumatic experience. But clearly, it looks like that's not what you did. So, what kind of shifted your mindset to be that, okay, I've gone through this traumatic situation. Majority of people in the world would just want to be by themselves, but you went on and persevered, and you continued with Toastmasters, and you became the world champion in public speaking. What convinced you to? Should I see for? I don't want this to sound silly, but what convinced you to move on with life?
Great question. And I have compiled 18 steps on how to write a winning speech. And it's my keynote, one of my keynotes that I give. And the very first thing that I say at the beginning of that keynote is, before you start to write a speech that you want to compete with, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Because that answer will determine how much time and effort you're going to put into the project. So there are people that say, I can't do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody is strong. And I know there are people that are stronger than I am. There's no difference whether you cry when you cut your finger on a paper cut or you cry when your body has been torn apart. There's no difference. It's still an emotion you're going through. Some may say, well, that's not as bad as it's bad. It's all bad. But we tend to, I don't know why we're on a grading system.
Mm.
Like I'll be talking to a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh man, you know what? I don't know what it is. There's something wrong with my elbow." And oh, I'm sorry. Why am I even telling you that? Look at you. I
Mm.
said, wait a minute. You're still going through pain, aren't you? Well,
Mm.
yes. Okay. Pain is pain. Whether you were hit by an 18 wheeler or whether you bumped your elbow on the corner of the shelf, pain
Mm.
is pain.
Mm.
What you can't talk about it because, oh, mine was worse than yours.
Mm.
We're not on a grading system. You know, if you have a bad day, you have a bad day. And some people aren't strong enough. I'm sure there are people saying, well, if Luisa had been stronger, she'd be walking by now. My God says, let them say what they want to say. Let them believe what they want to believe. Luisa is going at Luisa's pace. You are going at your pace. It's not going to be the same. It's all different. And the ironic thing of it is, neither one is right or wrong. And we are so quick to, oh well, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Why are we the ones judging? We're not here for that. My God wants me to help as many people as I can along my way, along my journey, and that's all I'm trying to do. And if other people want to turn around and help me, that's good too. People will be who they are. And a lot of the times we think everyone else needs to change. Maybe we need to change. Maybe we need to allow people to be who they are. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to think of something to lift you up on a note. You go do you. And if you feel like giving up on some days, give up. Because maybe your body needs that downtime.
Wow.
You can't go out there and tough every day. I couldn't. I know some people that are stronger than I am. And I know that there are people weaker than I am. So, and this is human race. I don't even like the way that sounds. We're not racing against each other. We're just here, each one of us trying to exist, trying to have a good life. Okay, if I can help you, great. If you can help me, great. You want to have a bad day, rough day? Sure. You know what? Order a pizza, get that bucket of ice cream, sit on the sofa, put on your jammies, stay in your pajamas all day. It doesn't matter, do whatever. Whatever you personally need, do it. It's different for everybody. Some of us need more downtime than others. And no big deal. I hope that helps some people.
That helps. And I like the perspective you gave to that in terms of obviously it doesn't relate to everybody. Some people are stronger than others. Some people, no matter what, might go through something like what you've been through and might never be able to pick themselves up again. Um, but I think there was a point where you made was if you can, because I think you made a very definite point of saying that, you know, if you had given up earlier, maybe you wouldn't have be able to make it on what your goal is. You get what I'm trying to say? So I think also that perspective really plays a very important role. I wanted you to leave us with your final words on silver lining and gratitude.
Hmm. I am happy that in the middle of what I was saying, you, one person, you said, wow, you've shifted my perspective. And I hope it's for the better. And if we can each shift one person's perspective on positivity and all the good stuff in life, how cool is that? And I'll keep trying and showing people, look, this is awesome. This is life. It's not every day is going to be sunshine and roses, but we need the bad days to be able to appreciate the good days. If every day was good, well, how boring would that be? Some of us are going to have worse days than others, and some of us are going to have more harder trials and tribulations than others. It's it would be like me trying to compare myself to my brother. My brother's a very strong person. I'm not competing against him, but if I need help, I hope he's there to help me.
Mm.
And that's why the strong people are here to help the ones that aren't as strong. So,
Thank you, Louisa. This has been, I want to ask us a question in the chat box before we go. With the conversation we've had today, what does it leave you with? Because I am so calm. The way Louisa has just rocked me in my mind. I want us to just share in the chat box. What is something you're taking away, even if it's one word? I think for me, it will be positivity. Honestly, positivity. Because we are in a dispensation where it's really hard to find the positive in the seemingly negative world we find ourselves in. But you've taught me that there's literally a positive in every negative. There is a
mhm,
positive that exists.
absolutely.
And thank you for that. And I think your story is one that is so remarkable. So remarkable, so inspiring. Um, and you know, it's easy for people to come and say, "Oh, guess what? I got into a car accident in 2022. I was healed in 2023 and I'm walking." You're like, "No, it's a gradual process." And even in the process, I'm still grateful. So thank you. Thank you very much for making time to share this with us. And A few people have said gratitude. We are not all built the same. If you need a break, take it. Do you? It's your pace, not a race. Someone also said having the right perspective. Definitely having the right perspective. But thank you, Louisa. We're so grateful for you. I think if we had more people like you in this world, it would be a better place.
We need to raise the bar then.
Honestly, I think you literally raised the bar for us today, and we're all leaving with something to hold on to. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well,
So thank you all. Did you want to say anything before?
yes, my word is gratitude because
Yes.
you asking me here and allowing me to talk freely
Mm,
of what I want to talk about,
mm.
that's awesome. So I thank you.
Thank you.
Gratitude. Grateful for the invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Louisa. We are so grateful for you. Wow. Today, it keeps getting better and better. I'm telling you, these conversations have been amazing. And I just want you guys to, if you guys are not following us on our social media pages, please do so. This can also be rewatched on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and type Power of Love Foundation Canada, you would see this video. I'll encourage everyone to go watch it and watch it and watch it again, especially if you're having a bad day. Please go and watch it. And I know that it would change your mindset and your perspective on how, the trajectory of your life should go. So thank you all so much. And we look forward to seeing you on our next session. Have a very good night.